Winter 2021. Our story begins in Austin, Texas, February 15th. Mark Rodriguez sat in his living room around 2 a.m. in the morning, watching his family's breath turn from fog to darkness. The power had been out for 36 hours. The temperature inside his house had dropped to 38 degrees. His two young daughters were huddled under every blanket they owned. But Mark wasn't panicking, because 6 months earlier, after reading about winter preparedness, he bought a Mr. Heater Buddy and stored 6 propane canister in his garage. That $150 purchase kept his family warm for 5 days, while millions of others suffered and hundreds died. Today I'm sharing real stories from real people who survived real winter emergencies because they were prepared. As you know, I'm Phil Davis from Ancestry Lands. This is episode 4 of Winter Ready. Before we dive into these stories, let's get a real quick recap of what we covered in episode 1 to 3. We established a problem. Your gas furnace needs electricity to run. When the power fails during winter storms, you're on your own. If you own rural land, the first to lose power is you, and you're the last to get it back. In episode 2, we gave you the solution: portable propane heaters, specifically the Mr. Buddy Heater Series. No electricity required, indoors safe, and when used correctly and affordable, under $200 for a complete setup. In episode 3, we cover how to store propane safely in your property. Outdoor storage, proper ventilation, and right quantities for different emergency scenarios. Those 3 episodes gave you the knowledge and the tools. In today's episode, it's about why it matters, because preparedness is not theoretical. It's not paranoia. It's not overreacting. It's the difference between surviving and suffering when the system fails. These are real stories from real people. Some are success, some are cautionary tales, but all of them are lessons. Let's start with Mark Rodriguez. From the cold open, Mark is a software engineer in Austin. Not a prepper, not a survivalist, just a regular guy who happened to read an article about winter preparedness after the 2011 Texas rolling blackout. In 2020, he ordered a Mr. Heater Buddy, portable, an adapter hose, and 2 20-pound propane tanks. The cost, $180. He tested it once in his garage and then stored everything, forgot about it. 6 months later, the winter storm Uri hit in Texas. On February 14, 2021, the power went out at Mark's house. The temperature was 12 degrees outside, the coldest Austin had seen in decades. Within hours, the inside temperature dropped to the 40s. His wife started getting texts from friends whose home were hitting the 30s. Some were burning furniture to stay warm. Others were running their cars and garages, a deadly mistake that killed multiple families from carbon monoxide poisoning. Mark went to his garage, brought in the propane heaters, and set it up in the front living room, then turned into immediate warmth. He cracked a window for ventilation, remember, just like the instructions said. He set up his carbon monoxide detector and created a warm zone in 200 square feet living room, where his family could stay warm for the next 5 days while the power stayed out. The heater ran for 8 to 10 hours per day. He used about 25 pounds of propane total, less than 2 full tanks. His family stayed warm, safe, and the rest of Texas descended into chaos. Here's what Mark told me in an email. I spent $180 6 months before I needed it during the freeze. I saw heaters on Facebook Marketplace going for about $500, if you could even find one. People were desperate. My family was fine because I prepared when I didn't have to. That's the lesson. You don't prepare during the emergency, you prepare before it. During 2013, southern Michigan, an ice storm knocked out power for over 600,000 people. Some areas went without electricity for 2 weeks. Sarah Mitchell owns 40 acres of rural land near Lansing. She and her husband raise goats, chickens, and grow most of their food on their own. Hey, paradise. They used to being self-reliant, but when the ice storm hit, even they were tested. Power lines snapped under the weight of the ice. Entire sections of the grid went dark. Temperatures dropped below zero. Sarah's gas furnace stopped working almost immediately. And just like we covered in episode 1, no electricity, no blower, no heat. But Sarah had 2 Mr. Heater Big Buddy units and 8 20-pound propane tanks stored in a ventilated shed. She set up one heater in main living room area and the other in the bedroom. They created 2 warm zones and rotated between them to conserve fuel. For those 11 days, Those heaters kept their home livable. They ran each unit for about 6 hours a day, using roughly 50 pounds of propane total. But here's the part that really matters. Sarah also used one of the heaters to keep her water pipes from freezing. In rural areas, you may not know this, but frozen pipes can burst and cause tens of thousands of dollars in damage. During that storm, dozens of Sarah's neighbors came home to destroyed plumbing and flooded homes. Sarah's pipes stayed intact because she kept the storage areas of her house above freezing. She told me that the heaters didn't just keep them warm, they saved their home. We maybe spent $300 on equipment and propane, according to Sarah. Our neighbors spent $20,000 to $40,000 fixing burst pipes and water damage. The real cost was not being prepared. That's the lesson we didn't even cover in the earlier episodes. Emergency heat isn't just about comfort, it's about protecting your property. However, not every story has a happy ending in the tale of these tales. February 2021, Houston, Texas. We go back to Texas again. During that same winter storm Erie that Mark Rodriguez had survived, a family of 5 tried to heat their home with charcoal grill. They brought it inside, lit the living room, and closed the windows to keep the heat in. Within just a few hours, carbon monoxide filled the house. 3 family members died, unfortunately. 2 survived with permanent brain damage. This wasn't an isolated incident. Over 200 people died during Texas freeze. Many of those deaths were caused by dangerous, improvised heating methods. People ran generators in garages, basements. Carbon monoxide killed them quickly. People burned charcoal, wood, and even furniture indoors without proper ventilation. Smoke inhalation and CO2 poisoning killed them. People used propane heaters designed for outdoor only and enclosed areas, and unfortunately they died. Here's the brutal truth. These weren't stupid people. They weren't careless or desperate. They just did not have a plan, nor the right tools. When a crisis hit, they made decisions based on panic instead of preparation. And that's why we spend entire episodes on safety in episode 3. That's why I keep hammering home on ventilation, carbon monoxide detectors, and following the rules. But honestly, the difference between a survival story and a tragedy is often knowledge and preparation. If that Houston family had owned a $90 heater, Mr. Heater Buddy, and know how to use it, they could be alive today. That's not speculation, that's just facts. And unfortunately, they lost their lives, which our hearts go out to them. Now let's go to winter 2022 in rural Montana. James Cooper owns 120 acres of ranch land. Who wouldn't love it? 2 hours from the nearest city. He raises cattle and lives in a small cabin with his wife. In January, a blizzard rolled through 3 feet of snow in 24 hours. Power out for 9 days. James had been following Ancestry Land's channel. He'd watch our winter preparedness series the year before. He had 3 Mr. Heater Buddy units, a dozen 20-pound propane tanks, and storage system set up exactly how we described in episode 3. Outdoor storage 10 feet from the structure, secured and protected. During that 9-day outage, James and his wife stayed warm. They used the heaters in rotating shifts, living room during the day, bedroom at night. They kept their pipes from freezing. They stayed safe. But here's the part James wanted to share: the mental and emotional benefit of being prepared. Now, when the power went out, him and his wife didn't panic. He didn't panic. He knew exactly what to do because they had already practiced. They turned on the heater, set up ventilation, and got on with their lives. Meanwhile, their neighbors on the radio freaking out, asking if anyone had extra firewood, blankets, anything. That stress alone is dangerous. Clear thinking saves lives. You can't think clearly when you're panicking. That's a dimension of preparedness most people don't talk about. It's not physical safety, it's psychological. When you have a plan and tools to execute it, you stay calm. You make good decisions and you take care of your family. When you don't, every hour gets worse. Fear compounds, desperation sets in, and when people make mistakes, they're fatal. Let's pull out the patterns here. First, all of the survivors prepared before the emergency. Mark had brought his heater 6 months early. Sarah had hers for years. James prepared after watching this series. None of them waited until the storm was coming. Second, they all used the exact tools we recommended: Mr. Heater Buddy system, propane stored safely, carbon monoxide detectors, and proper ventilation. The links to those you can buy on Amazon will be below. Third, they all tested their equipment before they needed it. They weren't figuring out in the dark at 2 a.m. when their kids were freezing. Fourth, They all followed safety rules, ventilation, CO2 detectors, stable surfaces, clearance from flammable materials. We will have videos, links to our video episode 3 on that so you can follow those safety guidelines. Fifth, they calculated how much propane they needed and had more than enough. No one ran out of fuel. And sixth, they stayed calm because they had a plan. Those are the common threads. That's the formula. Now let's look at the cautionary tale. The Houston family had none of these things. No plan, no tools, no knowledge, just desperation. The difference is stark and completely preventable. If you're watching this today, you should have the knowledge. We'll also have all episodes 1 through 3 linked at the bottom so you can tell why and how your heating system will fail you. You should know what solutions will work. You should know the proper propane storage. You've seen the proof, and it isn't just theoretical. The question is, what are you going to do about it now? So here's my challenge to you. Not next month, not when it gets colder. This week, buy a heater, Mr. Heater Portable Buddy, 6 1-pound propane canisters and carbon monoxide detector with a battery backup. Cost should be between $150 to $180. Then this weekend, do a test run. Set it up in your garage or on your porch. Turn it on, get familiar with how it works, read the manual, and store it properly. Forget about it until you need it. That's it. 2 hours of your time, less than $200, and you're ready. Because when the next winter storm hits, it isn't just a question of if, it's a question of when. And when it comes, you'll be either Mark, Sarah, or James, calm, warm, and safe, or you'll be scrambling, making dangerous choices and hoping for the best. The time to decide is right now. In the next episode, we're going to expand beyond just heating. I'm going to show you how to build a complete winter survival kit for under $500. Everything you need for 2 weeks of off-grid living for an emergency such as the winter power outage. Food, water, light, heating, power, communication, the whole system, whole shebang bang. And in episode 6, we'll look at the long-term solution for people who own rural land. Gotta give it love to my landowners and want permanent off-grid solution options. But for now, focus on what we covered in episode 1 through 4, master the basics, and get your emergency heat solution in place because that's the foundation everyone builds on. And remember, there will be links, affiliate links that I do get paid for in the description section below. These stories that I shared are real. These people are real. The lessons are real. Preparedness isn't about fear. It's not about paranoia or doomsday thinking. It's about responsibility. It's about having tools and knowledge to protect your family when these systems fail, and they will. The grid is fragile. Winter storms are going to get more extreme, and infrastructure is aging. You don't have to be a victim of those failures. For less than $200 and a few hours of your time, you can be ready for any time before you go. And before you go, I want to leave this with you. Everything we just covered is part of our mission to help people every day build real security and generational wealth through land. For full roadmap, get my book, Getting Dollars from Dirt, available on Amazon. If you're ready to own land, hey, visit AncestryLands.com. This content is for educational purposes only and is not financial, legal, or even medical advice. I'm Phil Davis. Thanks for watching. We hope you learned and enjoyed something and found ways that you can protect your family. Now go out there and buy some land and get our book, Getting Dollars from Dirt, on Amazon. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.